What's up, everybody? Tony Pete's Guy here, back with the death of WCW. And I'm going to give you a little more backstory on this one than I did in the past. If you weren't actually a WCW fan, or even if you want to know a little bit more about WCW and what was going on, I will fill you in. So the events we're going to talk about is the Outsiders versus the Steiners at Hog Wild 1997. It is actually Road Wild 97, but we'll go into this. So, Road Wild was a wrestling event where they would have at Sturgis. And if you're unfamiliar with what Sturgis is, it was a bike rally where people would come from all across the country on motorcycles and meet at Sturgis. Now WCW would take a wrestling ring and put it right in the middle of Sturgis. Now they called this event Hog Wild. The only problem was Harley Davidson owned the term hog, so they sued him and they had to change the name to Road Wild. And at Road Wild 1997, it was actually bad for them to do it there. Now, if you're wondering why would it be bad to do it at Sturgis, well, I have a few things to tell you. Number one, there was $0 at the gate. That is right, they didn't charge anybody to come in. Reason being is because it was the bike rally from across the country. There's no way that they could charge those people to come in. Although it looked decent on TV, it was very bad on TV. Number one reason, it was too dang loud. Every time a big move would happen, they would rev their motorcycles' engines, and you couldn't hear the commentators, and the wrestlers were going deaf, and it was just too loud for them, and it was just annoying, and blah, 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 blah. You get it. Motorcycles and wrestling just don't go together, and we know why. Now we'll get to the part where we're going to talk about the Steiners versus the Outsiders. Now at the time, there was only a few select guys that were actually viewed that could hang with Hogan and his NWO cronies. And when push came to shove, the NWO never lost. And it was proven when the Steiners versus the Outsiders, Hall and Nash, for the tag team champions. Now, the Steiners have been around in WCW for years, even though they had a brief run in the WWE or WWF. They were still considered a true home team, and like I said, they were seen as a few guys that could hang with the NWO. Others were Luger, Sting, and the Giant. They were guys that could maybe get a victory over them. Now, Luger actually had a very brief win over Hogan, but it didn't last that long. And the Steiners didn't even have that much. Now, the Steiners have been chasing Hall and Nash for the tag team titles for over a year, but they left Road Wild without the tag team belts yet again. Keep in mind that not only had they been feuding with Hall and Nash at the time, they were even filmed in a... okay, hold on. I can't even say this with a straight face. They were filmed where Hall and Nash ran the Steiners' car off the road. Now, as we know, in the wacky professional wrestling world, the Steiners did not file charges because they wanted to take their tag team titles away. Now, the Steiners were scheduled to take the belts, but in the end, it didn't happen. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash went up to Eric Bischoff backstage at the pay-per-view and said that the frequent title changes were hurting the drawing power of the belts. Therefore, they argued that they should retain against the Steiners. Now, this may sound like a good idea, but the irony of this is that Luger had just won the WCW title 6 days earlier on Nitro and didn't get to retain and drop the belt. Now, this is such a BS move by Hall and Nash. Going up to Bischoff, saying that, and the Steiners did not win the tag team titles. Now, this is not good for business, as we can see, because WCW eventually went out, and it was one of many power strokes that the NWO used with Eric Bischoff, and it just pisses me off when I hear this, because you have baby faces need to win. That's the only way that you can put it. The babyface needs to win every once in a while. If you have the bad guy win over and 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 over, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see the bad guy win over and over. You have to have the good guy win once in a while. Now, granted, they did have him win, but like I said, they did have the good guy win every once in a while. But then it would just be taken off of him 6 days later or something. But something like this, where Nash and Hall go backstage to Bischoff and use their stroke against the Steiners, it is total BS. I'm very upset with that, but let me know what you guys think. I did just want to tell this one little tale of how the Steiners got screwed out of the tag team titles by backstage politics. Let me know what you think of it, and if you have any other WCW stories you want me to talk about, I will talk about it. Tony Pizza Guy, frag out.